defending the free market, and making the moral case for capitalism. The Justin Moore Show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Justin Moore Show, where we make sense of what's going on in this crazy, insane, out of control world. And ladies and gentlemen, before I dive right on in here, last week's show, I was talking about Trump and I was scouring through Trump's Twitter feed, and it really sucked because right after I recorded that episode, it was like, I think it was the next day. When I was talking about Vicente Fox, he's the former president of Mexico. He was the guy saying to Trump, hey, I ain't paying for no effing wall. Mexico's not going to pay for it, okay? Well, what would have worked so perfectly with that episode is that Vicente Fox actually came back and was attacking Trump on Twitter. Yes, I'm dead serious. It would have worked out perfect. So here, I just want to finish up and just kind of continue on from last week. And I just want to read just what Vicente Fox said. He was actually tweeting all over the place. But I'm only going to read 2 tweets from him because we don't want to take up the whole episode just going off on Twitter again. We already did that, okay? We're done with that. Well, here's Vicente Fox, and he's responding back to Trump. I can't remember, I didn't pull up that tweet that I read last week from the show where Trump's like, hey, guess what? I did not renege on what I was saying. Mexico will still pay for the wall later. He said something like that in a tweet. And and in response to that tweet from Trump, the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, he went to Twitter, and this is how he responded. Neither today, nor tomorrow, nor never, Mexico will pay for that stupid wall. If Trump wants a monument to his ego, let him pay for it. Exclamation point, exclamation point. He had 15,000 retweets and 26,000 likes. I mean, gosh dang. Can you believe this stuff, ladies and gentlemen? We have a former president of Mexico. We have the president-elect. January 20th, Trump will become officially the 45th president of the United States. And here we see on Twitter these guys going back and forth. Hey, I'm going to pay. You're going to pay for the wall. No, I'm not. You're going to pay for that stupid thing. I mean, just a bunch of children. But here we are, the leader of the free world are going to be Trump. But the world is not so free today, is it? In certain respects, it certainly is. The places where there actually is a free market, that's where we actually see the most prosperity. And that's what I always like to bring and I like to reveal to you guys on the show here to point out, hey, look, this is what works. Oh, yeah, and here's what government does. This is what doesn't work. And then I like to show the consequences of government action in the economy. And anyway, just one more tweet here from Vicente Fox. And this is what he said. After #Trump press conference, it's clear that we're facing a new era of dictatorship with @real Donald Trump. He's not a democratic leader. And I do love that thing about Donald Trump, too. I can't remember. I was seeing some sort of cartoon. I want to say it was The Simpsons or something. They're like, oh, yeah, by the way, because it's like they're doing something kind of making fun of Back to the Future, I think. And gosh dang it, I really don't remember how this works. I just know the person's like, hey, by the way, when you get Twitter, you need to get on it right away so you're not stuck with @real Donald Trump. Or there was some sort of joke like that. So it's kind of funny that he's real Donald Trump. I don't know why he just doesn't pay the guy off that has the @Donald Trump one. But anyway, I just wanted to leave you guys with that just to kind of wrap up with last week's episode talking about Trump and Twitter and all that sort of things. And I guess I'm guessing that Trump will still be active on Twitter as he's president. And then, there's always this speculation about Area 51 and aliens. Do you really think, okay, if there really is aliens at Area 51, that sort of thing, do you think Trump will be able to keep his mouth shut? I mean, wouldn't you just see that Trump would actually, he wouldn't be able to keep his mouth shut if there were aliens? I mean, I'm sure he would take right to Twitter. And he would be like, oh man, let me tell you, believe me, there are aliens out there, extraterrestrial life. Okay? Now, I guess just to wrap up with what happened, obviously we just got done with Christmas and we're finally over all these cluster of holidays that take place, Thanksgiving and New Year's. And now finally things in January slow down. I found this from the Wall Street Journal. This is just a few sentences in regards to car sales This is coming from January 13th. They said car sales drove holiday spending as Americans took advantage of big discounts offered by the industry as a strategy to clear inventory. The late year surge, driven also by moderate gasoline prices and aging cars on the road that continued to nudge Americans to dealerships, lifted car sales to another yearly record. Okay, and on my show, I've done probably 2 episodes, I think, talking about the car industry, maybe 3, and just kind of saying, hey, look, this is a gigantic bubble, it's ready to pop, that sort of thing. Well, car sales did finish December up. And actually for the year, if you look at, like, say, Ford actually for the year, I think their car sales were up about 0.1%. So they were basically even for the year. I think GM was down. So overall, they weren't that good. But in December, they finished very strong, mainly because these dealerships, in order to avoid the bust coming in the auto industry, they started enacting huge discounts on vehicles. Because if you want to move product, it's simple economics, isn't it? Supply and demand. If you have a price too high, then you're going to get less people to buy. But as you lower the price of something, the demand for it is going to increase. So it's no surprise you see sales of new vehicles in December increase because of the increased discounts. And I can tell you guys, and actually, guys, for me, I gotta come clean with you guys. I've been telling you guys on the show, hey, hold off on buying your new vehicles, that sort of stuff, because when this thing pops, prices are going to be so much cheaper buying the new vehicles. Well, since the last time you and I talked, I went on a little adventure. Yes, let me just tell you guys. Last week, because I've been wanting a pickup for several years now. I mean, I've really wanted a truck since probably 2011. But ever since I saw that when Ford unveiled the new design of the 2015 F-150, this was at the Detroit Auto Show back in, I think, February of 2014. I've been doing research on it ever since, and I have wanted that truck. Well, just this last weekend, I flew to Boise, I picked up my new truck, and I drove it back. And let me tell you, I drove through some miserable conditions because it was snowing. I went through a couple hundred miles. I was driving. It was snow coming down the whole entire time. I was on roads where there was no snow plows. The one time I did encounter a snow plow, I followed him for about 30 miles, going 25 miles an hour. So, I mean, this journey that was supposed to take, I mean, of course, if you had completely clean, clear roads and it was summer out, it's a 9-hour drive. Well, it took me significantly longer than that. But heck, you want to test out your new vehicle, because the main reason I got the truck is so I could get through this winter. This winter has been miserable. This is the worst winter in Montana I've ever had. I'm serious. The last month, it's probably been above 32 degrees, about 2 to 3 times. It's been just cold, a lot of snow. All I've had is my car. I've owned my car for like 11 years now. I bought it used with like 31,000 miles. It's been an excellent car. I still have it. Why would I trade it off? I'm not going to get that much for it, but for running little errands or, just to have as a backup, it's great to have around. It's been paid off. Insurance is low. It's, liability only. I mean, it's been a great car. It's an old Honda Accord. Don't tell Trump I didn't buy an American. Now, I want you guys to understand that I want to come out clean about this, because it's like, here, I'm the guy who's been saying, hold off on buying that new car because, prices are going to get cheaper and cheaper. Well, for me, and this is kind of just gets back with anything in general. We're all individuals, and for something that is right for someone at a certain point in time, it might not be right for somebody else. And so I can tell you guys, as I started out my little story here, I mean, I've been doing research on these 2015, 2016 trucks for especially these last 2 years. Solid research. I knew I would go build my own truck. I knew the price of every single option. I wanted the platinum. I was so picky. It had to be silver. It had to be the long box, 6.5 feet, as opposed to the 5.5 foot box. And, it had to have like the extended fuel tank, had to have the moonroof, or, I guess it didn't have to have those features, but I definitely wanted that as part of it. Well, my truck I happened to find, and the reason I jumped on it, I was going to wait longer, but I think opportunity was knocking, and I just had to take advantage of it. It was a very good deal. Basically, what I did not get a new truck. I got a used 2016 F-150 Platinum with 10,000 miles on it, which is basically new, right? I mean, and actually what's so great about it, it's a certified pre-owned vehicle where basically Ford takes it, its mechanics, they go through a 172-point inspection. It's got to pass all of their very, very high standards to qualify as a certified pre-owned. And so if you're buying a used vehicle and if you're getting one certified pre-owned, I mean, that's really, with 10,000 miles, that's really as close to new as you can get, but I didn't pay the new price. Okay, just to give you guys some perspective, the MSRP on this vehicle, you guys know how much I got off of that? I mean, typically, okay, you buy a vehicle, maybe you can get, like especially with trucks, they cost a little more. Maybe if you can really get a good deal, you get $7,000 off of MSRP, right? If you can negotiate. I mean, nobody pays MSRP unless you're some fool who shows up at the dealership like, yep, I'll take it. And you just pay whatever it says. Okay, yep. Oh, I get a $500 discount because I'm a student? Okay, $500 off MSRP. All right, I stole this vehicle from this dealership. I mean, the key is, and I think I'm going to I'll do a bonus episode maybe on this, talking about, maybe buying vehicles, the best way to go about it, for financing options. And actually, I do want to do a bonus episode talking about the best credit cards for you to get, where you can get the most bang for your buck, that sort of thing. Because I take advantage of all this stuff. And basically, getting back to my story here, the price that I got off of MSRP on this vehicle, if it was brand new, and obviously it's not, but 10,000 miles on the vehicle to me is no big deal at all. I mean, I don't want to pay the new price. I got 18,000 off of MSRP with this truck, and it's the top of the line Platinum with all the features, that off-road package and all that sort of stuff. Lane assist, 360-degree camera, the cooled seats, massage seats, everything on it, and just it was a good deal. And how do you know if a vehicle is a good deal? Well, you shop around. What do the other dealerships, what are they trying to sell them for? So then you kind of get a feel for the price. Okay, well, and once you understand like all the options for the vehicle, like I could pull up window stickers and I could be like, oh, it's missing that and that. Okay, yeah, okay, the moonroof option, that's another $1,750. Once you know enough and you do enough research, you understand what a good deal is. And so I knew with this truck, I brought him down a little bit from where it was at. But I really did. I got a good deal on the truck, and it is beautiful. Driving that thing through the snow was a breeze. I went through, as I was saying, I took a route from Boise, Idaho to my house that I shouldn't have taken, because I have been on the other road before, which I think that would take me to the I-15. But I decided, well, when I drove to Vegas years ago, I've already been on that road. I want to experience and see how this road is. Well, I end up going through some Idaho National Park, and it's highways. You're going 80 miles on this one highway. You turn, then you're on this other highway for 100 some miles. I was in the middle of nowhere. I hardly saw any vehicles. As I said, there was huge powder. There was snow drifts. The one car I did see, he ran into a huge drift, a 6-foot drift that was right by the road. And the guy was just SOL. Looks like you kind of need a truck like I got here, So yeah, and that's also what caused me to act. Because I did want to wait longer to buy the vehicle, because I do see that car prices will get much cheaper. But to get through this winter in Montana, I needed my truck now, and the price was right. To get that used vehicle, and guess what? Actually, this is what's so crazy. So this vehicle that I wanted, it had to be the silver, it had to be the F-150 Platinum, 2016. When I would do searches, like you go on like Car Guru or Auto Trader, you can look up, like a 500-mile radius. And I would only see, of the truck I wanted, I would only see at the max 4 of them. That's it, maybe 3. And there's actually 2 of the exact same truck at this dealership I went to in Boise. And after I ended up buying that truck, the other truck that was for sale, that one ended up, it was in the other lot, because it was bought too. So both trucks disappeared. They didn't last very long at all. So I had to jump on that. And especially to get that type of vehicle that I want, it's very rare to see. And what's so crazy about this truck too, it was in Alberta, Canada for a little bit. And then it was actually in Billings, Montana, where I live. The guy owned it for about 2 months. And it was just in Billings on November 29th. Then I don't know if the guy defaulted on his payments or what. That's what I've been talking about on the show, haven't I? Where there's going to be more and more people defaulting on payments. They're going to get repossessed. Well, this truck ended up going to auction. Well, this dealership got the truck, and that's how I ended up getting it. And this dealership at Corwin Nampa Ford, I think is the website, really great to work with. I did most of the work. All the negotiating was done online before I got there. So I was literally at the dealership for about 52 minutes because I had to go through paperwork. They wanted to try and get me on their, there's the different financing options, which I did decide to do that, based on the really low interest rates. And actually the really low interest rates you do see, like 0% for 36 months or whatever, those deals are for the new vehicles. But now if you buy used, they don't really offer interest rates that low. But I got an interest rate just over 2%, which is crazy. And if you think like I do, that the dollar is going to get destroyed, and say if I did 60 months, do you think the dollar will get destroyed in 5 years? Or is it at least going to be severely beat down in terms of value? The purchasing power of the dollar, is it going to go down a lot in 5 years? My guess is yes. So if you do buy a truck responsibly like I did, and if that does happen, well, then my deal just got even sweeter on that truck, right? And so I took all this into account, and obviously I can use it for farming stuff. A truck I can do a lot more with than a car. So for me, it made sense to do it. And so I finally jumped on the deal, and I just absolutely love this thing. I can't believe what Ford has done with this truck. The power running boards. The technology is unbelievable. The EcoBoost engine, holy smokes, you hit the gas and you just roll. It's crazy. And yeah, that 360-degree camera, when you're pulling into your garage, you can see both sides as you're coming in, make sure you're not hitting anything. And obviously backup camera. I could not get over how much is in that thing. And so I just want to share with you guys, I did decide to buy a new vehicle. Now for you, it might not be right. Maybe wait, because prices should come down a lot more in the car industry. And my guess is, when will this happen? If you ask that, well, it's going to take the next economic downturn. It's like 2008 during the housing crisis. People, they were scared. You're losing 40, 50% of money, in the money markets. It's just crazy how much money was lost. People don't really want to spend money when they see that their retirement has been cut in half, that sort of thing. So when people are desperate, they're going to get rid of what they have to. They just want to survive. They don't want to buy real estate. They don't want to buy housing. And just like the smart people, the smart money, they were the people who invested in the stock market in 2009, the people who bought gold and silver in 2009, the people who bought real estate, who bought houses in 2009. Those all turned out to be fantastic investments. Now, in general, let's be clear, I don't see buying a house as an investment at all. I know a lot of people like to say that, but you're building equity and this and that. No, it's a consumption item. You're living in it. Now if you can sell your house in the future at a profit, that's great. You bought at a good price, but you should never think about your house like that at all. And I think that can lead to a lot more bad decisions in the future. And, it's like kind of what these Keynesian economists like to do anyway. They want to inflate prices, asset prices, and, you inflate wages, people feel wealthier. When the stock market goes up, you feel wealthier. When people feel wealthier, they're more likely to spend more money than they would otherwise, right? It's the wealth effect. And the reverse of that happens when money is lost in the stock market, when things take a downturn. People aren't going to go buy new vehicles or used vehicles, or they're going to get repossessed. They lose their jobs. So ideally, the situation I'm talking about, if you want to be able to get a great deal on a car, is going to be when this next financial crisis happens. Now, when is that going to happen? I'm not sure. Would I say it's soon? Yes, I would. Could it happen this year? Yes, absolutely. But, I've gone my very last episode where I talked about the car industry. I was pointing out how, sales numbers at Ford were down like 7%. GM was down like 10%. A lot of these dealerships, they were losing their demand for people buying cars and trucks was falling fast. And so they severely discounted, and that's why they ended the year so strong. And that's how I started off this show. So I just want to leave you guys with that, and I'll have to send some pictures of this truck. Maybe I'll put it on Twitter, or heck, I don't know. I guess I'm not the one to really do stuff like that. So anyway, guys, I have to say, man, with that said, let me just move on here. And I found this a little bit interesting from Market Watch, just along this, talking about cars here. And this is Trump again, going back to Twitter. And Market Watch says, earlier Monday, the president-elect tweeted a thank you to Fiat Chrysler Automobiles for its decision to invest $1 billion in 2 plants in Ohio and Michigan, creating 2,000 jobs, even as the company said its decision wasn't based on Trump's urging to bring more production and jobs to the U.S. It's the same thing. Is Trump really going to, interject himself into every situation where a company wants to send jobs overseas? Like, this is crazy. This is, talk about a totally dictatorial mindset, right? And then, the way the car industry is moving, it's a lot about the self-driving cars. My new truck has lane assist, where has a camera where it'll sense both lines, and you can either pick to have an alert, or you can have it to it'll actually, if you start drifting out of your lane, it'll pull you back into your lane. And so that's on my truck, the 2016. So this technology is becoming more and more integrated with a lot of stuff. And it's just, and everybody's talking about the future of self-driving cars and, this ride sharing. Uber eventually is going to be, driverless cars. You won't actually need an Uber driver. Or I think with Tesla now, they're basically working out, they want to compete with Uber, where their cars, you could, as you go to work, you can choose to have your car go work and go pick people up while you're at work. So you're making money with your car. Because, 90% of the time, your car is parked in the garage. And so this is kind of turning that on its head, and your car can be making money for you. So it's amazing what's coming to the car industry. There's also a different innovation that's taking place in the car industry. And I found this to be very interesting. I found this article from Yahoo Finance. This is from January 12th. This is written by Pras Subramanian. And basically what he says in here is that Cadillac, what they're going to try to do with this new program, they're just starting it in New York City. It's the only place it's offered right now. Or it's going to be offered, I think, in February is when they start. And it's called Book by Cadillac, where you pay a flat monthly fee of $1,500. And this will give, and it says here in the article, this gives users the ability to drive Cadillac vehicles without the commitment of leasing or buying. Using an app on their phones, users can reverse the latest premium trim Cadillac models, the platinum level vehicles, including the high-performance V-Series, to use for as long as they want. And what they do, so you pay your $1,500 a month, and you're getting the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. And they'll go and they're going to deliver these vehicles to your location. Use it anytime you want. Anytime you want to swap out for a different vehicle, you can. And what's included in this price, this $1,500 you pay, it includes the maintenance for the car, insurance, your taxes, detailing, and I guess it says here in the article, the service launches February 1st. So just in a few weeks here, this service is going to be offered only in New York City. And so the director of brand strategy and planning at Cadillac, this Melody Lee, she basically said that what they're trying to do with this service, Booked by Cadillac, is they're trying to fill the void for many would-be car owners. And this is what they say. This is what Melody says. There's a little bit of a white space between traditional car ownership, which is leasing, financing, purchasing, and on the other side, you have the more efficient, but a little bit less personalized services of car sharing, ride sharing, and rental. She notes in the attached video, we think right in the middle there's a place for someone who might want to have a car always in his or her possession, a luxury vehicle with the flexibility of a month-to-month commitment. And so really what they're doing here, Cadillac, it's like you're buying, like, say, an Audible subscription or a Netflix, where, you renting movies, you just pay your flat monthly fee. And now this is the same sort of service that's offered with cars. Who would have thought of this? And this is what's so great about the free market, how it's these entrepreneurs, these innovative companies. They want to compete, with these other companies. And actually, this is part of the reason why Cadillac is doing this, because this is what they say in the article here. It's a compelling package for someone who desires access to vehicles at any time, plus the flexibility to choose from a variety of cars. But for Cadillac, there are other important reasons to launch the program. For one, it has been trying to get the younger, affluent consumers that traditionally flock to Audis and BMWs to give Cadillac new cars a try. And so that's their strategy here. Everybody, like the younger generation, they want the Audis, the BMWs, the names. Well, they want to show like, hey, Cadillac, we're still a pretty good brand. Come on, check us out. I mean, paying $1,500 a month, for a lot of people, that's a mortgage payment, but you're paying that to drive cars. They are the luxury ones. But it's an interesting idea. And it's a good way for Cadillac. They're trying to compete with these other companies. And that's the thing with government. The government doesn't have to compete with anybody. They get our tax dollars regardless of how they perform. Next time you go into the DMV, do those people at the counter, do they look like they're excited to see you? They're like, oh my God. They roll their eyes. Can I help you? Like you're just like you're a pest, like you're a little bug. You're a nuisance. You're in their way. You're ruining their day where they could be playing solitaire on their computer, right? That is the difference between government and the private sector. Anything where the government is operating it, just go look at it. Their customer service, it's no customer service at all. They treat you like crap. I've heard some stories about, some people who, work at way stations. Oh, and some of the crabbiest people. Oh, it is unbelievable. But people still, they want government to take more and more control of your lives. Like with Obamacare. Oh my God, if we don't have Obamacare, what are we going to do? Are you kidding me? You want the government to run healthcare like the DMV? That's really what you want? You want the government to treat you like some little budget item? Oh, well, we've already met our quota on this sort of procedure. Sorry, you can't see a specialist, that sort of thing. Maybe next year you can try to apply so you can be in the queue. So next year you can get the procedure. But I won't be alive next year. Too bad. We have budgets, sorry. But the private sector is not like that at all. And here it's the private sector that always takes the most crap from people, isn't it? I talk and I stress over and over again on this show how it's the entrepreneurs out there who are the problem solvers, who make our lives better, who make lives better for even the poorest among us. Those who have very little means, thanks to entrepreneurs, a lot of these options that were only available to the rich are now becoming available so the average person can afford these items. Look at how cheap things have gotten. Just basic thing, almost everybody has air conditioner. And like when I was doing that episode talking about Thomas Sowell, I read that one quote from one of his articles. How, go back to 1900, even the rich people. Go back to 1960. Rich people didn't have air conditioning or, really refrigeration. All this sort of stuff that we all take for granted today, they didn't really have back then. Or just go look back since 1900. Really, none of this stuff existed that we have today, and we just, no big deal. Now the corn chopper I use for farming, it has a fridge underneath the buddy seat. Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's amazing, the technology we have. But it's like, I don't think people take enough time just to take a step back and just, dang, I do have it nice, instead of people, whining and complaining about, all the stuff wrong in their life, and oh my gosh, my internet quit working for 5 minutes. Crap. It's, the more free time we have thanks to technology and our increased productivity, I guess that's more time we have to bitch about things, right? And that's certainly what people have been doing. But anyway, guys, I guess the question comes down to, with all these new ways, and like with Cadillac, what they're trying to do, you pay a monthly fee, and basically instead of getting, because it's way different from leasing a vehicle. A lease, you're locked in for 24, 36 months, whatever it is. You got to stick with the contract. You're guaranteed. You have so many miles, all that sort of stuff. But what Cadillac is renovating here is like, hey, there's no contract whatsoever. You paid that set monthly fee. You can have access to all the vehicles in our fleet. You're sick of that vehicle, you want to trade it in for a different one, fine, do it. And you just drive it as long as you want, just as long as you're paying your $1,500 a month. I mean, that's a pretty interesting model. I wonder how it's going to work. And obviously, that price point in New York City, $1,500 a month, probably won't be too bad of a price point. But say in Montana, where I live, that price point would not work. They'd probably have to have lower tier models so that they could have a lower price for people to do that. So people always ask, should you own, lease, or pay a monthly subscription to a car service? Well, as I started this show, it's we as individuals, we're all in different points in our life. Like for me, I know that yes, car prices, the principal amount will come down in the future when this auto bubble fully busts. It has started to deflate a little bit, and I took advantage of an opportunity I had, and for the exact vehicle I wanted. I mean, it's what I had to do, and I'm very happy with what I got. And maybe for you, it's better to wait, and so you can just swoop in, pay cash for a vehicle, get tens of thousands of dollars off, whatever it is. I mean, that's just around the corner. So yeah, you just got to do what you think is right. And I will do a bonus episode talking at least about some of this stuff, maybe how to improve your credit score, that sort of stuff, kind of maybe going through the car buying process a little bit. Definitely I'll tie in with credit cards. I'll talk about some credit cards that I use that give me the most percent back and that work beautifully. So yeah, I'll definitely do some of that. So, and obviously if you guys are asking here, you new listeners, like, wait, Justin, bonus episodes, how do I get access to these bonus episodes? Well, it's basically for people who donate, over $50 to my show via PayPal. I send you my bonus episodes, and I have secrets to Vegas, how to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars going to Vegas. I have a behind the scenes interview with Keith Weiner, that sort of thing. Oh yeah, and by the way, for my bonus episodes, I need to do an update on my Secrets to Vegas episode for anybody who plans on attending Freedom Fest this July. They're actually moving the hotel where it's going to be at. The last few years it's been at Planet Hollywood. Well, they're moving it next door to Paris, the Paris Hotel. And actually, I have a good strategy for you guys, or if you plan on going, where I could tell you a hotel to stay at, where you'll save a boatload of money. It'll be super easy to get to Paris. I mean, I'm serious. I'll save you hundreds of dollars just right there. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Easily. And so I will have all that coming for you guys who donate to my show. It's as a way of saying thanks to you for just helping me out, because those donations do help out a ton. I'm on a shoestring budget here for things for my show. I just do this in my free time. I still have a full-time job. So I do appreciate all of you who have donated. It's what keeps me going over here. Now, I just want to say, guys, and if you want to catch up with old episodes of my show, just go to justinmooreshow.com. Moore is spelled M-O-H-R. I'll send you. You can get access to all my old episodes. If you click on my little Amazon widget there, you can buy any Amazon goods you buy through my link there. I get a small commission back. That's also a way of helping me out if you don't have the means to actually donate, say $50 to my show to get the bonus episodes. And so, guys, I'll keep you tuned here. I will tell you if you want to wait to buy that new car. And I will talk with all you guys next week, and I'm looking forward to it. This is Justin Moore, signing off.